जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
कुंज बिहारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी रसादानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन यमुना तेरा बनचारी
यमुना तेरा वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
हे राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
हे गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन
नंदन ब्रिज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन
नंदन ब्रिज जन रंजन
यमुना तेरा बनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन गिरिवरधारी
सदानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन
यशोदानंदन ब्रिज जन
यमुना तेरा बनचारी जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुपादाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् कृष्ण अभय चरणानंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् कृष्ण भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंदा की श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव श्री गिरिराज कृष्ण श्री श्री राधा रमन जी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की गौर भगवान गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, Text 4. Santoyamasa Munivir
शान्तायामास मुनिभिः
Ata Bandhun Sucharpitan
अता बन्धून् सुचार्पितान्
Bhutesu Kalasya Gatim
भूतेषु कालस्य गतिं
Darsayanna Pratikriyam
दर्शयन् प्रतिक्रियाम्
Santoyamasa Munivir
सान्त्वयामास मुनिभिः
Ata bandhun sucharpitan.
अतः
बन्धु
बन्धुं सुचार्पितान्
सुचार्पितान्
Bhutesu kalasya gatim.
भूतेषु
भूतेषु
कालस्य
कालस्य
गतिम्
गतिम्
Darsayanna pratikriyam.
दर्शयन्
दर्शयन्न प्रतिक्रियाम्
Some of you please recite.
सान्त्वयामास मुनिभिः
Santayamasa
सान्त्वयामास
munivir.
मुनिभिः
अथ बन्धून् सुचार्पितान्
Ata
अथ
bandhun
बन्धुषु
sucharpitan.
चर्पितान्
भूतेषु कालस्य गतिम्
Bhutesu
भूतेषु
kalasya
कालस्य
gatim.
गतिम्
दर्शयन् प्रतिक्रियाम्
Darsayanna
दर्शयन्न
pratikriyam.
प्रतिक्रियाम्
शान्तवयामास मुनिभिः
Santayamasa
सान्त्वयामास
munivir.
मुनिभिः
बन्धुन् सुचार्पितान्
Ata
अथ
bandhun
बन्धुषु
sucharpitan.
चर्पितान्
तेषु कालस्य गतिम्
Bhutesu
भूतेषु
kalasya
कालस्य
gatim.
गतिम्
दर्शयन्न प्रतिक्रियम्
Darsayanna
दर्शयन्न
pratikriyam.
प्रतिक्रियाम् सान्त्वयामास मुनिभिर्
Santayamasa munivir.
हतबन्धुषु चर्पितान्
Ata bandhun sucharpitam.
भूतेषु कालस्य गतिम्
Bhutesu kalasya gatim.
दर्शयन्न प्रतिक्रियाम्
Darsayanna pratikriyam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, citing the stringent laws of Almighty and their reactions upon living beings. Lord Krishna and the Munis began to pacify those who were shocked and affected. The stringent laws of nature under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be altered by any living entity. The living entities are eternally under the subjugation of the Almighty Lord. The Lord makes all the laws and orders. These laws and orders are generally called dharma or religion. No one can create any religious formula. Bona fide religion is to abide by the orders of the Lord. Lord's orders are clearly declared in Bhagavad Gita. Everyone should follow him only or his orders. That will make all happy, both materially and spiritually. As long as we are in the material world, our duty is to follow the orders of the Lord. And if by the grace of the Lord we are liberated from the clutches of the material world, then in our liberated stage also we can render transcendental loving service unto the Lord. In our material stage, we can see neither ourselves nor the Lord for want of spiritual vision. But when we are liberated from material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and Lord face to face. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. Therefore, human life specifically meant for qualifying ourselves for the spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of illusory material energy, we accept the spot life of only a few years as our permanent existence and thus become illusion by possessing so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, etc., which are false representation created by Maya illusion. And under the dictation of Maya, we fight with one another to protect these false possessions. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all this material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depth a bewildered heart, and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. That is a summary of pacifying measures for those affected by the reactions of stringent material laws, exhibited in the form of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. The victims of war, namely the family members of Kurus, were lamenting the problems of death. Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge. Nama Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gaurvani Pracharine, Nirvishesa Sunyavade, Pas Desata. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, I thank you for joining the Bhagavatam class. As you know, that Lord was with Pandavas, and in that congregation, there were 5 Pandava brothers, their mother Kunti, their bade papa, bade papa Dhritarashtra, bade माँ, बड़ी माँ गांधारी, जो बचे कुचे बहुत सारे तो मर गए थे, बहुत कम रह गए। तो ये जो युद्ध हुआ, इतनी भारी मात्रा में हत्या हुई, तो किसी के लिए तो ये आनंद की समय नहीं होगा। और धृतराष्ट्र जो है, युधिष्ठिर महाराज जो कि धर्म को समझते हैं, उनको तो लग रहा था कि वो ही कारण है इस सभी की मृत्यु के लिए, क्योंकि राजगादी तो उन्हीं को ही मिल रहा है ना, तो इसलिए उनकी सोच ऐसे था। और भगवान कृष्ण समझा रहे हैं कि समय बहुत बलवान है, समय भगवान की इच्छाओं को पूर्ति करता है, और भगवान की इच्छा जो है उसको कोई टाल नहीं सकता, आप कितना बड़े भी हो। ये जो पैंडेमिक आया, 1 साल बीत गया, पता नहीं चला, सब घर के अंदर। मैं अभी जगन्नाथपुरी गया, दर्शन किया, मगर जगन्नाथपुरी की मंदिर के अंदर कोई भक्त नहीं है, जाता नहीं है, क्योंकि आपके पास कोरोना नेगेटिव रिपोर्ट होना चाहिए, और वो रिपोर्ट सिर्फ 4 डेज ओल्ड होना चाहिए। बहुत बड़ा रेस्ट्रिक्शन है। तो इसलिए मैं देख रहा हूं बड़दांड में इतने सारे लोग चल रहे हैं, मगर मंदिर के अंदर कोई नहीं है, कोई नहीं है। और जब हम मंदिर के अंदर थे तो लोग बहुत कम हैं, तो वो जो नॉइज होता है वो नॉइज नहीं था। मुझे तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि मैं यहीं रुक जाऊं और मंदिर में टाइम बिताऊं, बिकॉज इट वॉज सो ट्रैंक्विल, द इनसाइड एटमॉस्फेयर वाज सो ट्रैंक्विल, you can sit there and do intense bhajan, nice darshan and intense bhajan, very beautiful. The entire temple complex was so clean, and even the pandas are very well behaved now. Now if you give pandas 20 rupees, 10 rupees, they are becoming so happy. Earlier time, if you used to give them 100 rupees, 200, 500, they would shout. So the atmosphere inside the temple is highly spiritually spiritually surcharged. That's my impression this time. And as such, the temple management has taken very wonderful decision. They have freed the temple and its surrounding so much. Now temple, it has a grandeur. When you enter into temple, huge gardens, and it gives an impression that we are really going. There is no crowd, like earlier when you used to go. So there are shops and everything, and all noise are coming. No, we saw also in one corner of the temple there is devotees. So they are chanting, they are singing the bhajan of Krishna, and that bhajan is going and being relayed on mic system outside. So while we were in the temple complex, it was a joy to chant there. It was a joy to have darshan of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra as much as you want, because nobody is there. Okay, it's not that so somebody would come and push you. Okay, and it's a very nice, fascinating darshan, and Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, they are releasing their own pastime, and very few devotees are coming. Those who are very, and the plane that by which I traveled from Delhi to Bhubaneswar, in that plane everybody was going to Jagannath Puri. So that means people were missing Jagannath for a long time, and I was really surprised. It's literally every, and they're all, and in fact the people from outside Odisha as visitor to Jagannath temple are more now, because people are coming. So after a long time, I had, we had this Jagannath Yatra last year in December, right? December 2019. And after that, I went for giving a talk in a college in Bhubaneswar, I think in February, early February. And there, Saroj, my student, arranged my stay near the Raja of Puri Raja Palace. And I used to stay there, and beautiful darshan, because it's just 200-meter walking to temple. So that was my last darshan. And so February, and this is January. So almost exactly a year after we had opportunity. So I think that all our groups should make a trip to Jagannath Yatra, Jagannath Puri Yatra. All of you, please come forward, and nice time now in Jagannath Puri. Visiting the temple is, of course, you have to have this COVID negative report. Only 4 days. After 4 days, it is, once you do, only for 4 days you can Like, my family members came. I took my certificate from here, but they didn't have. So we have to call someone, and they took the samples, and then that has to be uploaded into government, and it takes its sweet time, right? So the whole process started in the morning, and finally I could take them in the evening, and they were very restless. They said, "Hum kyun aaye?" So point is that people, you have to have patience. Immediately you go and do the test, even if you pay the money. It is not that you will get because you have to have a report on your hand. Uh, and very professionally, I found, there is, they have created the provision for long queues. Then they take your photograph. Along with your photograph, they stamp your I-card and the report, and then they allow you inside. Yes, and what I like this time, there is no noise. It's so cool, super cool. So as you enter into Jagannath temple, you first take darshan of Kasishwar. Kashi Vishwanath came from Kashi to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. So there you have darshan of Lord Shiva, and then you enter inside, walk over the 22 steps as you chant softly, and then turn left. So when you turn left, Bimala temple will come. You see, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's name was Bimala Prasad Datta. So Bimala Devi's temple would come. So you take her. In fact, what happened in that, when I went first time, because I had the report. So I told someone, please come and take the samples of my family members. And I took that opportunity to enter inside the temple. So I went at 6:30. They said, no, it's not open. So come at 7:30. So again, I went 7:30. So when I went to 7:30, there, that time I was very eager to see Jagannath. So I quickly rushed to the entrance. And then I found that for 1 hour, there is no darshan that time. So I said, okay. So that means I have to take darshan of all others. So I started from Kashi Vishwanath to Vimala temple to Kanchi Ganesh. Then you have Sakhi Gopal. Then you have Tiruchara Gopinath. Then Mahalakshmi. Then Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Then you have the darshan of Nila Chakra from that place where Vibhishan comes every day and takes darshan of Nila Chakra. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Charanapadaka. And then you have this, what is that called? Agnisar Shiva, Lord Shiva, where he makes sure that if something is uncooked for Jagannath, by his internal potency, he makes everything cooked before it is taken to for offering. And then I went, after taking darshan of everyone, I went to I went for chanting in the Anand Bazaar, and I found Anand Bazaar. Nobody's there. Very nice place now, Anand Bazaar, very clean. Nobody's there. So I started my chanting, and then after 1 hour, I had darshan of Lord Jagannath. So during this trip, as we were traveling, roaming in the streets of Puri, we also encountered one dead body is being carried to Surgadar. Ram Naam Satya Hai, Ram Naam Satya Hai, Ram Naam Satya Hai. Actually, this is when you see such things, you feel, I was seeing the lady who was being carried away, her, because it looks like she is not very affluent and she was carried in very poor condition. Her legs are all hanging. So, you see, just maybe a day before, she must not be knowing that she is leaving the body. Now the bodies will be burnt to ashes. And this is as truth as far as this body is concerned, for which we have so much of arrogance, so much of affinity, attachment. Uh, you see, what is mind? Mind is raga and dvesha. That is mind, right? This entire material nature is the social intercourse within this material nature is possible because of mind. Mind is central. And what is mind? Mind is raga and dvesha. Okay. Raga means attachment, and dvesha means um, uh, uh, what is eh?
Hatred.
Hatred. Attachment and hatred, opposite.
Enviousness, maybe.
So you have attachment and then you have hatred, right? This raga, this is samukthita. So that is mind. Mind is that. Okay. And similarly, the another aspect of mind is um, uh, uh, that um, hankering, and aversion, right? You hanker for something and you have aversion for something. These are called dvanda. So duality is not something that is there outside. Dualities are generated within the mind. Mind is a repository of dualities. More we associate mind with matter, we get entangled with the dualities. And that duality takes us away from Krishna. So one of the things that a devotee must do, how to remain Vandair Vimukta Sukadukha Sangha. Unless a devotee liberates himself or herself from these dualities of material world, our cultivation of Krishna consciousness will not be proper. To cultivate Krishna consciousness, we need to be freed of these dualities. And we don't really we don't really focus on this. Okay. See, mind always dwells in past as well as future. Mind never remains in present. Because present is important for me, because that is what I am now. And this time must be engaged in Krishna's service. So when you chant Hare Krishna mantra, what you are thinking? Something past and something future. And you are sitting there to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I must live in present. All devotional service are made to remain in present, relish it, and enter into eternity. I should always constantly remain in present. and present must be dedicated to Krishna. That is what. But unfortunately, we never remain in present. We are hankering for the, we are lamenting for the past, hankering for the future, and this is how we waste our time, and time is laughing at. Lila Purushottam, 54 is gone. Now you are in 55. Maybe few days are left for you. Still, you are so much interested in the past, so much interested in the future. So, as a eternal soul, we must realize the devotional service is eternal. So remain always in the present. Don't get affected by either past or present, future, and focus on pleasing Krishna. Focus on pleasing Krishna. If we do that, there is a great hope. Tasmat sarvesu kalesu ma manusmara idvasya. Maya arpita manobuddhi. Mam avasyashi asamsaya. Maya arpita manobuddhi. Mind and intelligence. Both must be surrendered to Krishna. So when we become a devotee, for us, we cannot say this is my mind, my intelligence. No. Mind, intelligence, manasa deha gehos chokichumaro arpilu tu apade nanda kishara. Everything I must surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna and say, Krishna, you use it. You use it. This is what is Krishna consciousness. Right? Always maintaining our consciousness in Krishna consciousness. Always remembering the beautiful form of the Lord. When you enter into Jagannath temple, you feel like Jagannath is waiting for you. He is, his two arms is like this, right? He is waiting. Come. Because by having darshan of Lord Jagannath, you become freed from all sin. By having darshan of Lord Jagannath, you get a taste of the divinity, the holy name. Everybody chanting Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Anybody who enters there, nobody is singing something else. Same people may be doing a lot of sinful activities, but once they're inside the temple, they're only talking about Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath from their heart. Whatever their, sinful activity doesn't matter. Jagannath is accepting everyone inside. Come, have his darshan, become freed from all sin. Because in this material world, in this age of Kali, there is only sin all around. People are only committing sin. What is sin? Sin is that that takes you away from yourself. Isn't it? Sin is that makes you forget Krishna. Sin is that by which you enter into duality, past and future. It's unfortunate, isn't it? People even don't know how to live in the present. You can't remain in the present. That is why devotional service must be very physical. Because any physical action at least keeps you, you have to go to the temple. You have to walk to the temple. Right? So that's very precious. Somebody will keep you and once you go to the Jagannath Puri nowadays, you have to think about from where you will get the report ready, be in the line, go. So, and that whole process keeps you focused on the present. Unless I do this, I will not be able to enter into. It's not like earlier time. Anybody can enter into Jagannath temple with whatever consciousness. No, so so now Jagannath wants very serious people to come to his lotus feet for his darshan. Probably he is a little reserved now. He said, no, I've given a lot of, what is that? Patita Tarane Rata. Tumi Krupamaya Kijani ki bale Tomar dhamete Hoinu Saranagata Tumi Krupamaya Patita Pavana Patita Tarane Rata. So, Lord Jagannath kept so many of us away from him, almost a year. And now there is strict restriction to enter his temple. So, anyway, we have to accept what time decides. Just like we are seeing here, Yudhishthira has to face the current situation. What is the current situation? Current situation is all warriors are almost dead. Hardly any warrior is left. And still he has to rule the world. Because that is what Krishna's desire. So whatever is Krishna's desire, we have to fulfill it. We cannot say, no, this is very painful. Nothing is painful. We have to continue our service to Krishna. Sometimes Krishna arranges, we serve Krishna with so many devotees together. And sometimes says, pandemic, just get lost. You yourself in your own house, and you have to serve. Whatever situation he gives us, we have to accept it and still continue our service to Krishna. This is how we must realize that time as a potency of Krishna can change the world just like that. Change the world just like that. You see, COVID has taken so many people's lives. It's not that people who are not dying. But, death consciousness was created. Earlier people were dying, but they were not death conscious. But death consciousness was created by this COVID. Oh, I may die of COVID. Like even Atish. Atish's father died of COVID. Right? So many people. So once you are caught with COVID and there is some problem with the lungs, immediately you feel, oh, that is a danger. But actually people are dying. It's not that death rate has decreased. Death rate, Prabhupada said, to one interviewer, death is 100%. Everybody would die, whether today or tomorrow. There is no probability of dying is not less than 100%. It is 100%. So we may say so many excuses that no, so bad. So death consciousness is good. This death consciousness was created by which people, they started talking about God. spirituality. Certain sense sank in by which people looked for Krishna consciousness. And I have seen also many of in our forum, they said because of the COVID, they started reading Bhagavad Gita, they started, and there are so many LGLG registrants who started reading LGLG. So, by Krishna's arrangement, we sometimes have to perform devotional service, even surrounded by dead bodies, right? This is what is happening to Yudhishthira Maharaj. 5,000 years ago, he saw all dead bodies. He saw all dead bodies all around. And Yudhishthira Maharaj has to become the emperor over the dead bodies. It's very painful. But Krishna says you have to become the emperor. Yudhishthira Maharaj cannot say, no, no, no. The only thing Krishna did is, he said, okay, don't worry. I'll leave sometime. Because after the Mahabharata, Krishna had nothing to do in this material world. Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he has already established dharma by killing the miscreants. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskruta. Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna has finished his job, but still he stayed back another 36 years. Can you imagine? 36 years. Just to allow Yudhishthira Maharaj to rule the earth for 36 years. Of course, 36 years is nothing from the mundane point of view, but 36 years is a big thing. Somebody tells you that you become the emperor for 36 years, your heart will joy. Your heart will dance in joy, right? 36 years. Nowadays, to become prime minister for 5 years, so difficult, right? And there are so many candidates. They dream to become prime minister, they cannot become, and they die, right? And I remember at some point of time in India, in 90s, people were becoming prime minister for 6 months, 3 months, and some 1 year maximum. And 36 years, you are the emperor of, and this is only India. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was the emperor of the entire world. He was the emperor of the entire world. And that is to unrivaled kingdom, 36 years. So whatever Krishna gives us, we have to accept it and remember him, because he is the ultimate actor. He is the only actor. We think we are the actor. So Krishna is the actor, and that we must recognize and develop the humility. Because of our false ego, we are not able to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we realize Krishna is the only actor, then we can give up all our false notions, false ego, and we start giving respect. I was seeing in this Bardanda this time. So they have made all these barricades on which you have to go, and everywhere you see only dogs, potty or excreta, dogs, right? And I was meditating this time on dogs. I was thinking, you see, India is such a beautiful country. They don't allow the street dogs to be killed like in foreign countries. You won't see in foreign countries, you won't see the dogs There will be no street dogs in foreign countries. That is how despicable is the Western culture is. So when we see a dog, we must realize once upon a time I was in the body of a dog. And attaining a body of a dog is a very, very unfortunate situation. That is why a Prahlad Maharaj teaches that a Grihastha must feed the dogs in his locality before he takes prasadam. So looking at a dog, oh, it's a dog. Yes, we don't allow dogs inside the temple. That is one thing. But doesn't mean that we hate dogs. A unfortunate soul, because of his sinful reaction, has entered into the body of a dog. So I was seeing so many street dogs in Jagannath and Vadadand, roaming and passing excreta. That's all I could see. And now the inside the temple also the monkeys, they are creating a lot of nuisance inside the temple also, because I think their community is not properly taken care of in this pandemic. So you see these monkeys, dogs, and all this. We should not see them separate from us. There has to be, the government and everyone must make some arrangement by which they get their own quota. Isavhasyam idam sarvam yatkinchya jagatyam jagat tena tektana punjita magudha kasya siddhanam. So this is what it is. Everyone has their own quota. I had told that earlier we used to have forest. In forest we will have fruit trees. But now they are growing forest where there is no fruit trees. They are growing those plants that can grow very fast. Stupidity. If you grow fruit trees, these monkeys and others, they'll be greatly benefited. There are so many birds will be benefited when you have fruit trees. But unfortunately, we are so myopic and we are so selfish. We are only thinking mankind. What is this nonsense of mankind? We are part of the bigger ecosystem. If we become Krishna conscious, then we will be able to see the interdependencies among all species and take care of everyone nicely. Then the world will be peaceful, not the way by which we are striving to become peaceful, but we end up becoming highly unpeaceful. So, dear devotees, I'm very happy. Actually, I was supposed, I had a ticket for Ranchi. I'm supposed to go to Ranchi. And Ranchi fellows, they told me that you cancel your ticket because actually somebody is supposed to take me to Ranchi and there are certain things, and that program cancelled. And then I had already advised my family members to go to Jagannath Puri. I said, okay, fine. Now I should go to Jagannath. And nice darshan of Jagannath and coming back after 1 year. It was nice. So, thank you very much, dear friends. Don't take this human life easily. Don't misuse your human life. I'm seeing that lady who was taken in front of us. Her legs are hanging. It's not properly covered. Actually, her legs are hanging and it will be burnt. It is already burnt anyway. And similarly, this body will be burnt, right? And we should not take any pleasure in anything that is temporary. So let us chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with sincerity, such that our consciousness becomes brighter and brighter and brighter, ultimately becoming pure Krishna conscious. Any question anybody has? I have to do Abhisekam. Quick.
Sir, I have one question, sir. Sir, regarding like living in present, so sometimes sir, we need to make plans also. Then living in present.
So that plan should be for Krishna, not for you. I must always live in present. But that plan that we are making, somebody can make a plan for building a temple, tomorrow going to Harinam. So that present, that future is transcendental. Okay. All right. So anyway, you plan for the future in the present, right? So, but when you plan for Krishna, what happens is that you will also be afflicted by anxiety. Like when I plan for my future, I will also be trapped by anxiety, right? But that anxiety is transcendental. So that is all right. That is all right. Yes. Any question? Nobody asking question. So we should stop. Chandan Sarma, at once you told mind is made up of Sattva-guna. Can you please give some light on this? Yes, mind is a mode of goodness element, but that mind is associating with mode of ignorance more and more and passion. So the impressions on the mind is that of passion and ignorance. And that makes mind very unstable. Mind naturally likes to be inside the temple. Just like you go to the Jagannath temple, as I told you, such a vast temple, nobody is there. 5, 10, you can count them, and rest are only pandas. So it's so peaceful, very nice, right? So you feel very happy. You feel like sitting under those banyan trees, in some corner, sit there, or in the Anand Bazar side. You just go somewhere, you find place and just chant Hare Krishna, because you feel so peaceful, very peaceful. And what is that peaceful? Because mind naturally feels home in a mode of goodness. That is why people are all feeling sansara dava nalalida loka. So everybody is feeling the burning sensation of forest fire. I had read recently, in the, I think Manipur, Meghalaya, all that tract of land, there is a great forest fire and engulfing everything, right? So, but when you suddenly enter into mode of goodness situation like a fall, waterfall, river, temple, so satsanga, so you feel very happy. Mind becomes very peaceful. You feel peace. So why you feel peace? But ultimately, where I experience things, I experience in mind. So when you subject your mind to mode of goodness more and more and more, so that is why it is said, that without mode of goodness, one can never make progress in spiritual life. So that is why in human form of life, our daily schedule should be such that we lead a life of mode of goodness. Any other question? Sir, in LG, you told first step in process self-realization is distinguish spirit and matter. Can you give some example what exactly is distinguishing matter and spirit? Matter and spirit means recognizing that which is temporary and that which is permanent, right? That which exists and that which does not exist. Okay, so that way, like, we were so attached to the body, and you see a dead body, and then you realize this body. So why, we see dead bodies and we don't get transformed? But Siddhartha Gautam got transformed seeing the dead body, right? So this is, when you see the body and still you are attracted to it, then you are in ignorance, right? So that is why, today I was in the morning hour, because I reached here yesterday almost like 12 o'clock night. And, my Jagannath trip was all bad physically, because I was suffering from cold, running nose. And so I came here, and I had a good sleep yesterday. And then I'm seeing, in one dream, I'm seeing Gopal Krishna Maharaj has come to our house here, right? And having darshan of our deities. And then I am having some Bhagavatam discussion where I'm explaining, quoting some third canto, I don't know, 7th chapter or something, and then some particular verse, and there it says, the initiation that we take, we get initiated in a spiritual life by our own sincerity to get connected to the whole process. And so I was amazed that how such dreams would also come when you are sick. Because yesterday, while in the airport, I was meditating that when we are in this material world, people are only talking about temporariness. And then I was meditating. What is happening in the spiritual world? What is the news there? Right? So just like news here, news there. And that must be very fascinating. There must be something more, confidentiality, uncertainties. Because in news, if it is routine, it is not very interesting. So it must be. So you start meditating on the nature of the spiritual world, absolute truth. So that is called, that process, that very process is distinguishing between spirit and matter. Okay. I'm little ashamed in saying that I am unable to progress much in my practice. Very scared of falling down. My mind is weak. Resolve keeps breaking. I need someone to mentor me, help me maintain my faith. Please guide me. Thank you. Okay, Aditi. So you please talk to me. I will have some counseling session for you today. So don't worry. These are the this material world is like that. We need help. So I thank you. At least you are seeking this help. So I will help you surely. There is a method by which we can always remain connected to spiritual life by strong devotee association, by following certain minimum principles. So don't worry. There is, Prabhupada said that materialistic life is impossible, whereas spiritual life is always possible, because finally the world is only spiritual. There is nothing material from the perspective of the absolute truth. Okay, so I think we are done. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So can you explain anxiety about future which flaxes, how it becomes transcendental, as you mentioned here? Because you are planning for Krishna. So when you are planning for Krishna, anything is associated with Krishna attains the all auspiciousness, right? So even if you plan, suppose we are planning for Krishna, it is not successful. So what? Like I am going to Ranchi for last 5 years and we have not been successful. So what? Okay. Every time we are thinking, Krishna would arrange something to serve there, right? So if it's not happening and we are in anxiety, but then we are anxious out of Krishna. There are certain aspects I will explain. Well, last time, you see that how when Uddhava reached Vrindavan, and how they saw, all the devotees of, Brajvasis, they were all lamenting. They were all in anxiety. But these are all spiritual anxiety. They're all spiritual lamentation. Because they're missing Krishna. So missing Krishna is not lamentation in material sense. Missing Krishna is a lamentation in spiritual sense, in a very, very highly elevated state. So that is why we have to understand Krishna consciousness properly. I think I'm getting late. We will discuss these points more and more. Questions are very nice, but I have to stop here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let me tell you, all of you, that today is Ekadasi, right? What Ekadasi? So today is Ekadasi and Safala Ekadasi. So today is Safala Ekadasi. So please observe the breath and remember Krishna more. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.